be happy that you're here.
Oh, yes. He's mentioned it at least a dozen times. This is his first game with the team.
And rather an important one, I hear. I must say, I'm surprised how popular it is. Look at all these people. Do you know the rules?
Not in the slightest. Oh, that must be the Serbian count that Henry mentioned. His family was recently outed in a coup a few years ago.
There is something rather swarthy about him, isn't there?
Look at how the players are positioned strategically on the field. A line of defense anticipating any and all outcomes. Julia, this is quite a lot. Are we expecting someone?
Yes, we are, William.
Oh, you don't mean...
I do.
It actually worked?
We're having a baby.
Oh, I'm very sorry. Are you all right?
Of course, I'm not made of glass.
I don't know what to say. I love you.
I love you too, William. And I couldn't be happier. But I do think that we should keep this between us, at least for a little while.
Right.
Isn't there a law against that kind of thing? Have you got something to hide?
You enjoying the game, sir?
Not really. England may have exported the rules, but not the talent. Look at that. Ridiculous. The batsman's stance is all wrong. Come on, Higgins, get a move on.
Inspector? One does not yell at a cricket match.
Oh, really? Is that what this is?
Rupert! Oh, that's Rupert, my brother. The alive one.
His likeness to Roger is quite something.
Doesn't my Henry look so dashing in his uniform? He is fitting in quite well here.
They're referred to as whites, Miss Newsom. Is this the Serbian count that's been staying with you?
Oh, yes, Count Dagan Petrovic. He said our estate was the finest he'd ever seen. He has impeccable taste.
Serbia must be quite different. Go on, lad, get after him.
Oh, Inspector.
This is as bad as hockey.
Perhaps the other ball had a defect.
If this batsman's anything like the last one, it won't make a blind bit of difference.
Julia, perhaps you shouldn't.
Why not?
This was particularly violent, and what with your condition, I thought it might be best to let Miss Hart handle it.
Nonsense, William. Just because I'm accompanying doesn't mean I can't do my job properly.
All right.
front foot planted firmly down the crease, head down, strong follow-through, and fours will come. Sixes, strictly for the anarchists. Here endeth the lesson. So, this one's different. Any thoughts? Murdoch?
Yes, sir. It would appear someone put explosive inside the ball.
We all saw that.
Sirs, the Count is ready to speak when you are.
Yes, Henry, tell us about the victim.
Michael O'Donnell, sir. You've been a part of the professionals team for some years, from what I understand.
And the history between the teams?
Well, sir, as you may have heard me mention several times this week, they are all professional cricket players. Every year they face off against us, the gentlemen. We are hobbyists of some distinction.
So basically, a bunch of rich buggers paid to be humiliated by professionals.
Mr. O'Donnell was sledging the Count in the lead up to the game, sir.
Sledging.
A form of mental intimidation.
He and some teammates would show up at practice and taunt the Count, yell insults, that sort of thing.
For what purpose?
Sir, some people simply resent us for our wealth. Brewster! Here.
Sir?
Take Miss Newsom home and then lay out my formal attire for this evening. I have an engagement at the club tonight.
What just happened? Who the bloody hell is Brewster?
Oh, Ruth insisted I take on a manservant, sir. Part of my transformation, as she calls it.
Oh, yes. You seem to have adjusted quite well.
Sir, I feel it's the life I should have always lived.
Animal! You killed him, you Serbian bastard!
What are you saying?
I know it was you.
You are a madman.
Who's that man?
Sam McTeer, sir. He was also sledging the Count. I believe he was quite close to O'Donnell.
Why aren't you arresting him? He blew up my friend. I mean, my God, this is his blood.
Yes, I'm very sorry for the loss of your friend, but I still have questions. What do you think was the Count's motive for doing this?
We embarrassed him.
But why?
This game is our chance to show these twits they can't just buy glory. And we've been trousing them for years. But then we heard about this Count, that he was a ringer.
Did Mr. O'Donnell have direct contact with the Count?
No, at least I don't think so. We just want him to know we were watching. Only a maniac would do this, Detective. He has to hang.
Mr. Petrovich?
Count Petrovich, or my lord, if you prefer.
Detective Murdoch, Inspector Brackenreed, Toronto Constabulary. Why did you switch balls just prior to the explosion?
The stitching was coming loose. This is why I nearly hit that poor man.
It looked to me like you did it on purpose.
Do you play cricket, Inspector?
I'm from Yorkshire. Of course I do. And I'm a damn sight better than you lot.
Then you will understand what I mean when I say the ball was drifting. I merely exchanged it for a better one.
The victim, Mr. O'Donnell, and Mr. McTeer had been antagonizing you in the days prior to the match?
Yes, very unsportsmanlike for professional cricket players, in my humble opinion.
Did you retaliate in any way?
Detective, I was in the Serbian army. If I'd wanted to kill that man, I would have just shot him like a dog. Which I have done.
Thank you, Count. We will be in touch. Henry! Where do the players obtain their cricket equipment?
The only sporting goods store in town, sir. Christensen's.
Right. Have constables fetch a new ball for me and bring it round to the station house. Oh, and I'll need a saw. The center is cork, layered with tightly wound string. It's possible someone could have made their own ball and encased an explosive inside.
I imagine an assembled ball could also be tampered with the right tools.
It would be more difficult, but possible.
If it was filled with explosive, why didn't it blow on the first bounce?
We can assume they used a less volatile combustible. Lyddite, nitroglycerin, both are relatively common. I'll know more once I examine the ball fragments. The constables are scouring the field as we speak. I'll see if Dr. Ogden has completed the post-mortem. That may give us something.
Oh, the good doctor. Was she all right? She looked a bit flushed earlier.
Oh, just the excitement of the game, I'm sure.
The sound of willow on leather.
What's this?
These are for your table. And this is a tonic in powder form meant to ease the symptoms of nausea.
How thoughtful. Thank you. I'll put these in some water.
How are you feeling?
I'm fine, William. Honestly. We can live our lives normally, at least for a little while.
It's all I can think about lately.
It is exciting. After everything we've been through, it almost feels like a dream. Well, almost.
Yes. Have you finished?
I removed the debris. What was left of him was badly damaged.
Did you happen to find any fragments of the ball itself? I need to determine the explosive.
Well, that's the odd thing. There weren't any. Just splinters of wood from the bat.
Strange. It should have blown up with it.
Perhaps the explosion incinerated it completely.
I don't think the exothermic force would have been powerful enough for that. There should be at least some trace of it.
One would think.
Well, I should get back and re-examine the evidence then. Oh.
Constable McNabb said it was in the range of the rest of the debris. He thought it might be something.
It appears to be a plug of some kind. Well, at least we know the ball wasn't the explosive. It's nearly intact.
Well, sir, that would mean that the Count is innocent then.
One step at a time, Henry.
So the bomb was in the bat.
I believe so, sir.
So what exactly happened to this little chap then?
If I'm correct, the plug that killed this squirrel was used to hold the explosive inside the bat, which must have been hollowed out.
So when the ball hit the bat,
It triggered the explosion, which blew the plug out with some velocity.
so poor little Sammy here was an innocent bystander. Well, that's tragic.
Henry, how do the players go about choosing which bats they'll use in a game? Are they shared?
Not on our team, sir.
You have your own bat, Higgins.
Of course, sir. It's named Ruth.
You've named your bat after your lady friend.
What about the professionals?
Oh, I believe they may share equipment, sir.
So whoever made the bomb either handed it to O'Donnell or placed it where they knew he'd pick it up.
Henry, did you happen to see if someone handed him the bat?
Actually, yes, sir.
Mr. McTeer.
Detective? Inspector? Have you arrested the murderer?
Actually, there's a strong chance we're looking right at him.
What?
Who gave Mr. O'Donnell the bat he used in the game?
I don't remember. Why?
The bomb that killed him was inside it.
What? How is that possible?
It just is.
Mr. McTeer, who handed him the bat?
I did, but I had no idea. Please, I'm not lying.
You understand we get that quite a lot.
The bat wasn't even one of ours. It was the Count's.
You handed Mr. O'Donnell the Count's personal bat? Why?
It was stupid. We thought we'd scorn him with his Ponzi bat, then parade it in front of him.
How did you know it was the Count's?
It had an engraved handle.
Did anyone else know of your plans? Other teammates, perhaps?
No. Please, I could never kill another human being.
We may need to speak with you further on this.
Of course, Detective.
So no one else knew.
Which means Mr. O'Donnell was not the intended victim. Someone was trying to kill the Count.
Oh, my dear sweet Natasha. In all the commotion, I thought she'd been stolen. So she's responsible for this man's death?
Well, the explosive inside of it. Her. Yes.
How awful. Dee,
When was the bat last used prior to the game?
At our last practice the day before. Then I believe she was placed in my stall overnight.
Do you know of anyone who had access to the change rooms who may have wished you harm?
I can't think of a single person.
the Count is loved by all, Detective.
Unless you consider the Bulgarians. But few do.
The Bulgarians?
The Count fought in the Battle of Pirot during the Serbo-Bulgarian War. He's a war hero.
I was merely doing my duty, my dear Ruth. Though you're not the first to say it.
Yes. Well, are there any Bulgarians in Toronto who may wish to harm you?
No. only those men on the other team.
Right. Thank you, Count. Miss Newsom. It may be best for you to remain out of sight until we can determine what is going on.
But the game has been rescheduled for tomorrow afternoon. I will not hide like some Macedonian detective. Whoever did this, let them come.
Is there anyone else who could have gotten to the equipment?
Not that I know of, sir.
The killer must have gained access to the change room prior to the game. It's the only time the bomb could have been planted. Henry, who was the last person to leave practice the night before?
That would be Dr. Newsom, sir. It was his turn to gather the equipment afterwards.
You take turns?
Yes, sir, alphabetically. Ridgewell Munt did it the night before.
Right. Bring in Mr. Newsom.
It's Dr. Newsom. Sir.
Higgins, does your man have to stand out there like that?
It would be undignified to let him sit, sir.
But why is he here?
To attend to my needs, of course.
What bloody needs?
You'd be surprised how many I have. Come, Brewster.
Thank you for coming in, Doctor. If I may, what sort of doctor are you?
A cardiac surgeon.
A surgeon? Oh, and what hospital do you practice out of?
I don't practice, Detective. I'm a gentleman, a man of titles. I leave it to others to perform.
I see. Dr. Newsom, to your knowledge, were you the last person to leave the change room the night before the murder?
As far as I know, yes.
And do you recall collecting the Count's bat?
Vaguely. There are over a dozen bats in our cache, Detective.
Please don't. Did anyone else come into contact with it after you left?
No. I suppose I was the last. Just what are you implying, sir? Because I'll remind you of he to whom you are speaking.
Yes, I'm well aware. I'm simply trying to track the murder weapon.
I didn't plant a bomb in our star player's back. I put it back in his stall as I did with all the others.
Do you know of anyone who may have wished the Count harm?
Detective, we haven't won against the professionals in 7 years. Not only is the Count the best cricket player I've ever seen, he reaffirms the necessary divide between the honorable proletariat and the beau monde. I'm captain of the team. If I knew of anyone who wished him harm, I would have come to you immediately.
You saw no one else that evening?
Actually, yes. Leonard Killjoy, a teammate. He wanted to talk about my recent decision to replace him as opening bowler. Bumpy's a tad upset.
And the Count was the one who replaced Bumpy?
Correct.
Well, I was upset about being replaced, yes, but I'd never fault a team for putting their best players first.
No, what bothered me most was that the Count lied to us.
How so?
He's always going on about his big battle in Bulgaria. It all just seems so contrived. So I contacted a professor friend at the university. Dagon Petrovich never fought in the Battle of Prerog. That was the famous general, Dragon Petrovich.
But how do you know the Count didn't fight as well?
Well, because Dagon Petrovich was driving gypsies out of northern Serbia and into Hungary at the time.
Is there proof of this?
Well, my professor friend found a newspaper article in a British paper in the archives. It should still be there.
Where did you go after you spoke to Dr. Newsom that night?
I had dinner with a woman.
And after dinner?
I mustn't say. We engaged in amorous congress the entire evening.
If we ask, she'll confirm this?
She most certainly will not.
So our Count's a liar. Quite common in those circles, I'd imagine. That type are always building themselves up to be something they're not.
But it does raise some suspicions, sir. If he lied about that, what else might he be lying about?
You think he could be the one to kill O'Donnell?
Perhaps he learned of the plot to steal his bat and sabotaged it first.
Sirs, I checked on Mr. Killjoy's alibi. When he was with corroborated his story. Yeah, it was off-putting, sir.
Have a look at this, Higgins. Your war hero.
I don't understand. He wasn't at the Battle of Perot? No, sir, he showed me his scars.
He has battle scars?
Yes, sir, quite a deep one, in fact, right down here.
Right here, you say. How big is this scar?
I'd say like that.
That's an appendectomy scar, Henry. This article clearly states that you were hundreds of miles away, flushing gypsy camps out of northern Serbia.
I've never seen this before.
It says right there, cousin of the king's wife, Dagan Petrovic. That's you, is it not?
Gentlemen, in the chaos of war, many facts are distorted or fabricated. Well, sometimes things take on a mythology of their own.
The chap who fought at Perot was named as Dragan Petrovic, which means that you got your own name wrong. So tell us, who are you, really? Besides a man without an appendix.
What a surprise. Hello, darling.
Officers, what's this about?
These men are implying that I am some sort of a liar or fraud.
Oh, you're not, Henry, are you?
No, not exactly. But I'm not. They are.
I'm afraid I must ask you to leave. This man is a victim, not a criminal. And the fact that you are questioning him is frankly inexcusable.
This man can't even remember which battle he fought in.
How dare you, sir? Honestly, this is ridiculous. I've half a mind to toss you out myself.
Dr. Newsom, please.
Rupu, count to 10.
The man is royalty, Ruthie.
This man's lying to you, Newsom.
An inflammatory accusation, sir.
Oh, call it what you like.
I refuse to listen to any more of this.
What is that?
It's mine. I was bringing it upstairs when these men arrived.
Allow me to assist you.
No, that's all right.
No, please, I insist.
No.
Truly, I just...
That's not mine.
You just said it was.
The truth. For a change.
I'm not a count. I'm Stanley Palazzo.
What?
What are you saying?
What we've been trying to tell you for the last 5 minutes. This man is an imposter.
We opened our home to you. Our home.
Dr. Newsom, please sit down.
I will not. This is an outrage and an affront.
Oh, calm down, Newsom. He'll get his comeuppance.
He must hang.
Ruth?
I think I should probably sit down.
Ruth?
So who are you really?
I told you I'm Stanley Palazzo. I'm from Oshawa.
Oh, dear God. Oshawa. Could it be worse?
Mr. Newsom, please.
Dr. Newsom, and I will not be silent for this fabulous...
Just let me explain.
Oh, she's coming too. Are you all right, fairy face?
Yes, I think so. What is he still doing here? You take him to jail.
All right, enough. Doctor, sit down. Count.
Stanley.
Stanley, sit. Miss Newsom, breathe. Now, just what was your plan exactly?
I didn't really have one. I met Ruth on the train and I saw an obvious mark.
What about your war medals?
Russian, from a pawn shop in Ronkonkoma, New York. And before I knew it, she'd invited me to stay here, and Rupert had made me a member of the team. I really didn't have to do much.
We thought you were exiled royalty!
Sit down, Newsom. But where did you learn to play cricket like that?
Prison.
Oh,
Ruth! You gone Zugler! I should run you through!
Oh, you were more than willing to exploit me for my cricket skills. You're no victim.
Gentlemen, sit.
And put the cutlery down.
Henry, is she all right?
Oh, I think so, sir. But how much more betrayal can one woman take?
So, you were getting ready to run.
What choice did I have? Someone's trying to kill me.
Been at this for some time, I take it.
The confidence game? Not long enough.
I imagine you've accumulated quite a list of enemies.
I suppose.
How did you learn about the Serbian monarchy?
Yeah, I did some jobs with a Serbian grifter. Clearly, he couldn't get the names right either.
Is it possible a member of the gentleman's team recognized you? Had you had any dealings with them prior to this?
No. I wouldn't have got involved if I had.
Mr. Palazzo, who do you think planted the bomb?
I honestly have no idea. A couple of days ago, I got this in my stall.
That's it?
Yeah. And for the life of me, I can't figure out what it means.
Where were you in November of last year?
In Kingston jail. Detective, please. You gotta help me. Someone is out for revenge. And with nowhere to stay, I'm a walking target.
May I have a moment, Detective?
Of course.
I have never been this upset in my entire life. Except, of course, when you killed dear Roger.
Might I suggest taking an inventory of your possessions? Some items may have been stolen.
I'll have the servants look around. Detective, would it be possible to keep this quiet? I understand a crime has been committed, but if you could see your way to be discreet.
I promise to do what I can.
If any of our friends found out, we would be laughed straight out of Mimico.
Of course.
Thank you. We will weather this storm. The Newsoms are nothing if not survivors. Except, of course, dear Roger.
I have no doubt. Miss Newsom?
Let's go.
Henry? Find out where the Newsoms do their banking. Speak with the manager. It's possible Stanley gained access to their accounts.
Sir.
Come in. I suppose the list of suspects has grown, what with this Palazzo being the target?
Not necessarily. The only people who had access were the gentlemen themselves. The motive may have changed, but the possible perpetrators haven't.
We need to find out if Stanley swindled any of them in the past.
That's the most likely motive.
Let's look into any connections. Group that thick, there must be something.
Sir.
He's at a hotel with a guard at the door. He's safe. Cad.
What if the guard weren't there?
Well, then he would be in real danger.
Would that be so bad?
Flittermouse, you can't actually wish him. Can you?
Well, I admit I have been daydreaming about it. Henry, our family has worked so hard to build our standing in the community. First, the undercooked chicken at the fundraiser. And now this.
Bonbons. Detective Murdoch will assist me in catching whoever did this. I'll make sure he never shows his face in Toronto again. Just please don't kill him.
Oh, you always know just what to say.
Brewster? Take Miss Newsom home. We'll see you shortly, my wingless dove.
Having second thoughts?
Not that it would do me any good at this point. No, not a one.
I've brought you something.
Oh, what is it?
Lavender oil. It's said to be soothing.
Oh. Oh. It's lovely. Perhaps a bit strong. What do I do with it?
Well, I thought you might know. Perhaps it should be diluted.
Thank you.
Right, I'm gonna let you off this time. But if it happens again, I'm gonna tell your mother. You keep an eye on him. Off you go. Murdoch, we found a connection between the Count and one of the gentlemen.
Which one?
The Lothario, Leonard Killjoy. Apparently, Stanley was involved in a scheme to relieve Killjoy's wife of a tidy sum.
Was he arrested for it?
Not for that particular instance, but he was for a similar swindle. He confessed to both.
So Mr. Killjoy knew the truth.
Higgins said that it broke up the man's marriage. He's on his way in.
Very good.
Well, she was an idiot.
Your wife?
Ex-wife. They convinced her she was investing in a property development in the swamplands of Florida.
Well, that must have been upsetting.
I didn't marry her for her brains, Detective. We divorced shortly after.
But you never met the man who swindled her?
No, but according to her, he was quite charming.
Yes, Mr. Killjoy, we have reason to believe Stanley Palazzo is the man who swindled your wife.
Who?
Stanley Palazzo, the fraudster who has been posing as Count Petrovich.
Wait, so he's a...
Confidence man.
Oh, unbelievable! Oh, the Newsomes must be mortified.
Mr. Killjoy.
I must tell everyone at the club. What did you say his name was?
Palazzo.
Oh, and swindled by an Italian to boot. How marvelous! Oh, boy.
Higgins spoke to the Newsome's bank manager. It seems that Stanley did try to make a withdrawal from one of their accounts.
I thought so. How much did he steal?
Not a penny. The bank manager became suspicious and alerted Dr. Newsome personally. The transaction was cancelled, no further action was taken.
So Dr. Newsome knew about the attempt?
Seems so.
And yet he did nothing, and made quite a show of being surprised.
Sir, my shift is ending soon. Do you think I might be able to join the practice?
I don't know, Henry. This definitely takes precedence.
This is Dr. Newsome's cabinet, sir. Maybe it's a surgical tool?
What are you doing?
Dr. Newsome, we found these in your stall.
What are those?
Well, they appear to be the tool used to hollow out a cricket bat and a bottle of nitroglycerin.
Nonsense, those aren't mine.
Dr. Newsome, you are under arrest for the murder of Michael O'Donnell.
Are you joking? This is preposterous. Henry, are you going to let him do this to me? Henry! I have no idea how those got into my stall. For all I know, you put them there.
Why did you not come to the police when you learned Stanley wasn't who he claimed to be?
Detective, please. I've told you how long we've been losing to those professionals. I didn't care who he was. We needed him to win. I wasn't about to let something as silly as money get in the way of that.
So you abetted a charlatan in order to win a cricket match?
Well, of course, when you say it like that, it sounds absurd. But I was planning on informing the police after we won the game.
How do you explain these?
I suppose I've been framed. You have to believe me. I'm a surgeon, not a murderer.
You certainly had motive.
What motive?
The attempted theft. The shame it would have brought to your family had the news gotten out. He needed to be silenced.
Detective Μέρντοχ, I am a member of the Mimico Newsomes. We do not murder people. That I know of.
Does this mean anything to you?
November 26th. The birthday of Schmelzer, my favorite composer.
I'm sorry, Dr. Newsome, but given the evidence, I have no choice but to charge you.
Put my bag in my stall, Brewster.
Yes, sir. I hope you waxed your bat, Higgins. You don't have a hope in hell without that ringer. Get ready for a pummeling. This one's for Michael.
I know we've been down this road before with Roger, but I'm still flummoxed as to how dense the Newsomes can be.
It is difficult to fathom.
It can't be easy for Ruth, though, now with both brothers gone.
At least she has Henry.
Here's to a job well done, Detective.
There is still the matter of this note, sir. Dr. Newsome claims to not know what it is.
He also claims to be innocent. Maybe it's just more sledging from the professionals.
That's possible.
Maybe someone slipped it to him as a prank. Could even be some other poor bugger that he swindled. No doubt we'll be investigating Stanley's murder in the near future. But right now, it's got nothing to do with this.
I suppose you're right.
I am right, Murdoch. I'm always right, until I'm wrong. Rupert Newsom is our killer.
Gentlemen, and I do not use that term lightly. A few words, if I may. Now, I know that many of you must be thinking that we are doomed to fail without the Count. Or Stanley, or whoever that imposter was. And it is true. We have lost our captain and our best player to
Murder and lies?
look at these men before you. This team is more than just an individual. This team represents all that is right and just in society. When I joined, I was a lowly commoner. And you accepted me as one of your own. And you welcomed me into your world. And now I am proud to call myself one of you, win or lose. And win or lose, we will play with dignity and with honor. What do you want?
Forgiveness.
Well, I'm sorry, sir. We do not play with thieves and liars.
Are you ready to bowl?
Yes, sir! Catch me, man. Come on, here we go. That's it. That's it. Good to have you back.
Sir,
What is it, Murdoch?
have a look at this.
What am I looking at?
November 26th.
And?
Well, sir, do you think it was referring to this event?
But it doesn't make sense. Stanley isn't the Count.
Yes, but no one knew that.
But you said someone from the Gentleman must have planted the bomb. Now your theory is what? That some gypsy wanted revenge? How many gypsies do you know that are members of a posh cricket club?
There must be a connection.
It doesn't bloody exist, Murdoch. We interviewed every player who had access to that changing room.
We interviewed every player, not every person.
Brewster? Take Miss Newsom home.
Henry's manservant. I'd like a word with him. Sir, are you all right?
Someone hit me. Felt like a train. Who did this to you?
You there. Look after this man.
What are you doing?
Stop! Don't come any closer.
Brewster, what are you doing? I insist you on
Quiet, you blithering idiot! My name is Baval. Did you hear me, monster? Baval Salazar.
I hear you, and whatever I did, I'm sorry. I can pay you back.
There's no paying back what you took from me. I was a child when you killed my parents. You and your army of murderers.
Mr. Salazar, listen to me. This man is not who you think he is.
It's true, I'm not.
Shut up. He's a fraud, an imposter, a petty thief.
Hey!
His name is Stanley Palazzo. He is not Dagon Petrovich.
It's true. Listen to his voice.
I only pretended to be the Count so that I could steal from the Newsoms. I'm not even Serbian. You're a pig. You'll say anything. No! I've been dreaming about this for years. No! For all the pain!
Bleeding?
It's just a surface wound. You'll be fine. Good work, Henry.
Thank you, sir. It's a good thing old Ruth is as thick as she is.
love both my brothers so dearly. You can imagine my distress. One barely in the grave, and then the other one in jail.
Ruthie Schmoothie.
I am so glad you're all right. Oh, did Henry tell you how heroic he was?
In some detail, yes. You should be proud.
Oh, you should have seen it. He was magnificent, just like a lion with a bat.
Well, I suppose the real work begins now. Trying to find a quality manservant.
Dr. Newsom,
Ah, detective.
I hope there are no hard feelings.
Henry told me you worked to prove my innocence. For that, I am grateful. Perhaps one day, I may even forgive you for killing my brother.
Perhaps. I'll see you soon. My hero.
Gentlemen.
Can you believe a family as fine as that has taken me on as one of their own?
If it's a boy, perhaps the inspector could teach him to play cricket.
There's nothing that says that girls can't play as well.
True.
These are modern times, William.
I imagine we'll have to start looking for a house. Something bigger.
I'm perfectly happy in the hotel.
Yes, but something with more room and perhaps a yard.
Well, I suppose I could try to cook more.
But then again, parks do offer plenty of space.
You said you liked my stew and dumplings.
We should start interviewing au pairs.
William, it may be a bit premature.
I've begun a list of potential schools.
I am sure you have. And I'm sure you'll make many, many more.
How are you feeling?
I've never been better.
Neither have I, Julia.